Hello, John from Bang & Olufsen in Manchester. It's the big one. Good people of YouTube, let me introduce Beosound Theatre. What is it? Beosound Theatre is a soundbar, a bit like Beosound Stage and then some. Like Beosound Stage, you can buy it as a standalone unit with wall mount and table stand in the box, and of course you have a choice of covers. You can also build a full TV/home theatre solution with a new screen mount and Bang & Olufsen placement options. More on that later in the video. It's available at launch in silver, black anthracite and gold tone, and with the covers you've got oak, light oak, dark oak, or if you're not a fan of the wood look, you can have a grey melange cloth instead. It's designed like a ship's keel, floating on a blade of aluminium. This hides some of the soundbar's depth, giving it a more elegant aesthetic. On the top lives the glass touch interface with play, pause, track and of course the usual 4 profile buttons. And of course with a proximity sensor, so the buttons will illuminate as you approach to use them. Just like other Bang & Olufsen audio systems like Beosound Emerge, Beosound Level, Beosound Balance and Beolab 28, it's driven with Bang & Olufsen's latest Mozart platform, making Beosound Theatre a fully fledged audio system by itself. It has AirPlay 2, Chromecast, DLNA and B&O multi-room. Just like all Mozart products, the chip will be upgradable in the future as technology moves along. In fact, in Beosound Theatre, it's currently running at 50% capacity, which means there's plenty of scope for future upgrades. Beosound Theatre can drive up to 16 external Beolab loudspeakers, 8 wired and 8 WiSA wireless. There are 3 HDMI inputs that can support 4K at 120Hz or 8K at 60Hz, and a handy USB-C socket that can be used as a line-in connection for external devices such as turntables and CD players. It will work with any TV with HDMI ARC, although B&O recommend LG OLED screens because the additional side wings for theatre can be added or removed to match the width of the latest LG OLED 55, 65 and 77 inch C and G panels. So to the sound, it's essentially a 7-channel soundbar, front, left, right and centre, and left and right upwards and side firing drivers. A big upgrade from the Beosound Stage's 3-channel arrangement. You can input up to Dolby Atmos 7.1.4 from a source, and I believe that's more than any other soundbar on the market. With 2 6.5-inch bass drivers, again the largest of any soundbar, the bass response can go toe-to-toe with Beolab 28. And there's 800 watts of digital amplification to give Beosound Theatre enough clout and control to keep up as a centre channel, even with Beolab 50 and Beolab 90. Bang & Olufsen's True Image algorithm will up or down mix the incoming signal to utilise all of your connected speakers, so your system is always played at its full potential. All the setup is done using the B&O app for Android or iOS. It's quick and easy, and it took me literally minutes to get things up and running. Bang & Olufsen have obviously worked very hard, and it's taken 3 years to create Beosound Theatre. It's no surprise that they have come up with some new innovations. Number 1, BeoSense is the first 3 microphone calibration system to be included in a soundbar. 2 microphones built into the soundbar itself, and another rather pretty microphone that comes in the box gets placed in your listening position. You run the calibration with the B&O app, and it automatically assigns the roll, the distance, the level, the filters and room compensation to all of the loudspeakers in your system. If you have the Bang & Olufsen motor floor stand or wall bracket, triggering a listening position can also move the TV. Number 2, beamforming signal processing means that all loudspeaker drivers are working together not only to produce the sound but also to control its beam width and its direction. This means if you're playing sound from the left internal output, you will not only get sound from the left tweeter, full range and woofer, but there will be some contribution from the other drivers at different frequencies to help control the spatial behaviour of the output sound. 3. A new bass management system lets all the loudspeakers in the system contribute to reproduce the bass frequencies. Bang & Olufsen have gone back and remeasured all Beolab loudspeakers since the Beolab Penta, so that Beosound Theatre can perfectly control the phase, the latency and the bass level of even classic Bang & Olufsen speakers that you may already own. As I mentioned at the start of the video, you can have Beosound Theatre as a standalone soundbar, as it comes with a wall mount and a table mount in the box. These included mounts will only hold the soundbar though, they will not support the weight of a TV on top. To make theatre look like mine here, you can buy a motor floor stand and the screen mount, and this puts everything together a bit like a BeoVision TV. It has built-in cable management and allows the TV screen to sit forward slightly so it sits halfway across the soundbar. This makes the soundbar look thinner than it is. You can do exactly the same thing with a motor wall bracket. It's just like the Eclipse motor wall bracket, and you also have a fixed table stand. So the motor wall bracket will hinge left or right, just like BeoVision Eclipse, and the table stand puts everything together and lifts the TV up, so you no longer have to have that soundbar placed in front of the screen, and it keeps all your cables nice and tidy. There's even a section to hold something like an Apple TV in the back. For the screen interface, you can use a 55, 65 or 77 inch screen. This is also on the table stand and the floor stand. The motor wall bracket can support 55 inch and 65 inch only, as the 77 is just too heavy and too wide to be able to swing out. If you would like to use a larger screen than 77, you can mount the TV on the wall as you normally would with a regular TV bracket, and then you would use the Beosound Theatre's included wall bracket to just mount the soundbar underneath the TV, a bit like Beosound Stage. So you might say I'm biased, and yes, I am a little bit. I'm a store manager in a Bang & Olufsen franchise store. Of course I'm a bit biased, but that being said, I've heard a good few soundbars in my career, and I've got to say Beosound Theatre is the most powerful, flexible and well thought out soundbar that I've ever experienced. Honestly, you can tell a lot of time and effort has been put into making this a viable product for decades. And yes, I'm aware it costs more than any other soundbar on the market, but it should give you a very long service, and it can adapt with your needs and ever-changing technology. And what other soundbar on the market can do that? The more speakers you add, the better it sounds. The new bass management, True Image and Dolby Atmos just work beautifully together. It's even suggested that if you only have one pair of external Beolab loudspeakers, that it's beneficial to use them as surrounds rather than fronts. Beosound Theatre is more than powerful enough to take on the role of all front channels. On top of that, music sounds as you'd expect. It's just absolutely dreamy. It just seems to effortlessly handle anything you throw at it. All genres of movies, music, games, they just sing. Beosound Theatre just eats it up. And I've got to say, I think I've found my all-time new favourite product. If you want to come and have a listen, pop in, I'll look after you. That is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. You'll see me in the next video. Take care.